What happens when Mclaren makes a sim racing wheel? Well, you get this, the Artura Sport. But is it $800 good? Well, let's see how it compares to my $400 Fanatec Podium F1 wheel, a wheel that's half the price and that I've been daily driving for an entire 2 years. Released earlier this year, the Artura Sport falls neatly into its creators, Ascher Racing's newest line of wheels. Manufactured in Germany and made in close collaboration with Mclaren, one thing that immediately crossed my mind when I first saw these wheels was, how is this different from any other high-end wheel? Though that thought was soon crushed when I saw the wheel for the first time. With its $800 price tag, you'd hope that the materials and its construction would suit its high-end price. And I'm glad to say that the wheel is incredibly sturdy, with a full aluminium construction and nice and meaty hand grips that stay cool during, at least my, sweatiest of stints. And while meaty hand grips help, a lot of wheels fall into the trap of having buttons and varying inputs in very difficult spots to reach to while driving. But does the Artura Sport have the same issue? Well, I'm glad to say that it doesn't, as all the buttons, apart from the ones below the funky switches, are easily accessible while driving, with a plastic guard surrounding each button, helping to mitigate misinputs. While we're on the topic of inputs, I'm a little bit dissatisfied with the blue funky switches on the front of the Artura Sport, as their height leaves a lot to be desired. So while trying to turn them, I've found that my fingers bump into the buttons immediately underneath, a little bit frustrating on an otherwise really well thought out wheel. Turning to the back of the Artura Sport, I was awaiting what I would find on the other side, and thankfully in the center is a standard 70mm mix of threaded and non-threaded mounting holes, as well as a USB Type-C port if you wanted to connect this wheel through a quick release with USB pass-through like Fanatec does with their quick release. As well as this, you'll find 2 really solid all-aluminium paddle shifters. And if you thought that was it, you'd be sorely mistaken, as not only can you upgrade to dual paddles, but also dual clutches if you so wish. Though, with a matching price tag to suit. The stock paddle shifters are still considerably better than anything I've driven in recent memory, maybe only matching the Gomez Sim Industries Hyper P1, a wheel that's nearly double this wheel's price. And you may be thinking, this is all great and all, but why is this wheel called the Artura Sport USB? Well, that's because of Ascher's inclusion of this binder plug, which allows you to connect the Artura Sport to SimHub, allowing for not only customization of its functions and LED colors, but also allows for syncing this wheel up directly with your simulator. Speaking of, let's talk about the Artura Sport's unboxing and software experience. The Artura Sport comes incredibly well packaged, with its box wrapped nicely in a layer of foam sheet that once unwrapped reveals the packaging's outer shell. I had no expectations coming into this, though I think you can hear my reactions when I saw the wheel for the first time.
Oh my goodness. Whoa.
Inside, you'll not only find the wheel, but also all the accessories needed to get the Artura Sport running. This includes the wheel, of course, USB cable plus extension, stickers, all the replaceable button caps, necessary screws and tools for changing the button caps, and if you ordered it on their website, a quick release. But if you have your own planned quick release, it can usually be a bit of a faff to put on, right? Well, that would be true if it weren't for the Artura Sport's aforementioned mix of both threaded and non-threaded mounting holes, though you do have to take apart the wheel to make use of the non-threaded holes. As I've mentioned earlier, this wheel is also first-party supported by SimHub, one of sim racing's most versatile tools for higher-end sim racing customization. The amount of adjustability and customization in this software is crazy, and I'm by no means an expert in SimHub, though just from a user standpoint, there is hours worth of options and settings to tweak. What options and settings? For example, you can change the colors of each individual button to react to the simulator software, like this power button, or brake bias, or lights, wipers, as well as so much more I'd spend hours listing off. If you're interested in SimHub itself, there are both free and paid versions, though the free version also works perfectly fine with this wheel. Unlike buying from Ascher, or for that matter, anyone, subscribing won't cost you a pretty penny. It helps me out a bunch with the algorithm and pushes me to create more reviews on SimPulse. Thank you. So, we've talked about the Artura Sport's features, its premium construction, and its great customization, but how does it feel to drive out on track? Well, spoiler, it's pretty darn good. For starters, there is absolutely zero flex. This wheel is rock solid, not only on the rig, but off it too. I've already broken bits off my Podium F1 wheel off the one flex test, not to mention its awful plastic creaks while I do so. Another great thing about the Artura Sport is that its grips don't heat up and don't get sticky or sweaty after intense racing sessions, though they do attract quite a bit of dust and debris. Despite that, they are certainly better than leather and definitely Alcantara, like the one on my F1 podium rim, with overall better ergonomics than not only my Fanatec F1 podium rim, but a majority of wheels I've had the pleasure of testing and driving over the years. And while we're on the topic of ergonomics, how are the Artura Sport's buttons and inputs? Well, like I've mentioned earlier, the Artura Sport has 14 individually lit, replaceable SimHub controlled buttons that after driving for hundreds of hours, I found my hands reach every input almost perfectly. As well as this, I've also found that the magnetic paddle shifters on the Artura Sport feel great, with a fairly heavy activation force and a nice dampened click on both ends of the travel. Another huge improvement over the Fanatec Podium rim is the Artura's 300mm wheel diameter, which is much larger than the almost toyish feeling 270mm that the Fanatec Podium wheel rim has, as there's a lot more leverage on the wheelbase. Though this means you'll notice a dampened or weaker sensation on wheelbases with under 12 to 15 Nm of torque. But overall, this wheel has been an absolute blast to drive out on track, in every car and simulator I've driven. But with that being said, should you purchase this wheel or one of its bigger brothers? While I cannot speak for its larger brothers, I definitely feel this wheel has become my new favourite not only due to its fantastic ergonomics, but also its great customization and build quality. My only issue is its steep price, though if you're looking for one of, if not the best sim racing wheels, I doubt price is a considerable factor.